Hey everyone, I'm Epion, and today we're playing some Commander on MTGO. Our opponent is playing Yasova Dragonclaw, and we are playing Damia the Sage of Stone. This hand is bad. We're gonna have to mulligan. This hand is even worse. Oh boy, I think we're gonna have to keep this. It's not great. Swamp's gonna help a little bit. Nope, don't want to pay 2 life. This is very bad for us right out of the gate. No blue mana for this deep analysis, so this is unplayable. Dictor Time's unplayable. Golgari Charm is mostly unplayable for us. We have Golgari Charm, which gets rid of enchantments, but not artifacts. So this doesn't do anything for us. Well, at least we got an island now. Go ahead and run out this swamp. At least then we can hold up Golgari Charm. I don't think that's going to be particularly relevant in this case. Looks like our opponent's playing their commander. Yep. And they're shipping it back to us. Okay, so we'll go ahead and play this Farhaven Elf. I think, you know, getting another land out is going to be relevant for us. I think grabbing a second blue is going to be probably more relevant than anything else. And then we'll send it back. We'll see if our opponent wants to pay to take our elf. I would assume they probably don't. I don't feel like that's particularly good value as far as they're concerned. Okay, and there's a Bird of Paradise. And an Ashnod's Altar. And there's a hinder, fashionably late to the party. I think what we may do is go ahead and hold up this Golgari Charm so that we can, you know, if he decides to pay the mana, we can still Golgari Charm and kill at least the bird and our elf. It's not ideal, but if he chooses not to take our elf, then it also does mean that we can block, and then we can use Golgari Charm afterwards, and hopefully clear the board. Looks like we're just going straight to combat. Nope, decided not to. Okay, so there's Yasova. We'll go ahead and just block. Like I said, I think what we want to do is play Golgari Charm and minus everything. We also have counterspell backup, which is significant. Okay, there's Phyrexian Altar. That's fine. Okay, now end step. We'll go ahead and play this Golgari Charm for minus. So that buys us a little bit of time at least. Go for the Throat is actually a great draw. I think what we'll go for is Deep Analysis to try and hit our land drop. If we do hit an untapped land, we can hold up Go for the Throat. Nope, didn't get it. So I think we'll just go ahead and play this relic. I mean, we're basically telling our opponent to go, you know, wild on this next turn. We're totally tapped out. But we definitely want to try and hit our land drops as best as possible. Okay, there's a profit. I definitely think killing this profit is going to be good value for us. Definitely want to do it now. If he goes for a counter spell, we can always counter his. But we definitely just need to clear that as best as possible. We especially don't want him flashing in his commander. Conjurer's Closet. Definitely don't think that's something we're interested in. That means he probably has a lot of good value creatures as well. So we're going to go ahead and dissolve that. Forest is great. We're going to leave that on top. We want to keep hitting those land drops. And let's go ahead and have him exile a card from his graveyard. We don't know what kind of recursion his deck is running. Okay, there's the forest we were anticipating. I don't think we want to try and be too greedy and try and get this solemn down. At the same time, we can't, you know, keep waiting too much longer. I think the best play at this point is to hold up Hinder, hold up Dig Through Time. If we don't have to use Hinder, then we'll just wait and then Dig Through Time at the end of his turn. You know, he's already seen counter spells from us, so, you know, I doubt he's going to, you know, run out this Yasova Dragonclaw without some sort of counterspell backup. Okay, Jalira, that's fine. I don't feel like that's something we're particularly worried about. Okay, now that we're at the end step, go ahead and cast this Dig Through Time. We don't want to get rid of this Deep Analysis, so I think this is going to be the way to pay for it. So I think we definitely want to take a piece of removal and then also, you know, get ourselves a land. So I think it's definitely Putrefy. I'm really tempted to grab Thragtusk because it's just a very good value creature for us. But at the same time, I don't want to get stuck with, you know, without things to play. So I think just taking this island is probably going to be best. And then we'll put everything else back. That was actually pretty good for us getting rid of that many lands off the top. And there's another land off the top anyways. So we don't have a great way to hold up both Putrefy and Hinder. So it sort of forces us to, you know, pick one or the other to hold up at this point. I still think holding up Hinder is going to be just better. And at the same time landing this Solemn. Solemn also trades profitably for us, so I don't think we're too worried about that. Okay, Mana Vault is fine. Go ahead and have him exile another card. We've been missing these last couple turns. Like I said, I'm not sure that, you know, this is great value exiling those cards. So we don't know what type of recursion he has, but... Okay, we'll go ahead and play that. So at this point, we're now up to 9 mana. I think it's actually okay to go ahead and hit this Deep Analysis. Omniscience is going to be great if we can actually land it. We're actually pretty close. Like I said, this is 9, and we've got enough blue. The question will be whether we can find a window or not where Omniscience is going to be appropriate. I think we're fine with just letting Solemn stay back on defense. I don't see any reason to push the issue and start trading 2 for 2. We end up losing that race in the long run. Okay, there's Zealous Conscripts. I would assume he's probably going to take our Solemn and then pitch it to Jalira. So let's go ahead and just use Venser for this. If he wants to replay it, you know, that's fine. He's going to have to pay an awful lot to be able to recast it this turn. And he's not going to be able to get much in terms of value. Okay, he's going to use Solemn. Probably going to attack, then sack, so that he can draw a card. Go ahead and go to blocks, block the conscripts with Venser, and we'll go ahead and hit him with Regenerate. Okay, yep, sack Solemn so we could draw a card. We knew that was probably going to happen, so it's still fine. I'm not sure what he can do with this 2 colorless mana. At this point, he's tapped out, so it might be a great time to go ahead and try and land our Damia. So we'll go ahead and sack this Mire. I don't see any reason to take extra damage, so we'll go ahead and just grab a Swamp. There's something to be said for, you know, holding up, or for grabbing a Watery Grave so that we could try and hold up Putrefy and Hinder in the same turn. I'm not totally crazy about that. But I think we want to start trying to get our card draw going. At this point, we're getting pretty late in the game, and we haven't basically touched our opponent at all. And our opponent doesn't seem to be playing counterspell, so if he goes after Yasova, we may have an opportunity to go ahead and use this hinder. Okay, Kiki Jiki. We're going to go ahead and hinder this. Obviously, if he has a counterspell for backup, Kiki Jiki and Zealous Conscripts. Would I like to put this on top of its owner's library? No. No, I would not. Okay, our opponent's playing Metamorph. I guess with Venser. Oh, no, looks like he's doing a Damia of his own. Okay, sack Zealous Conscripts. Okay, Lightning Greaves. Yep, that's fine. Okay, we'll draw up to 7. Oh, this is a lot of lands. Definitely a lot of lands. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and run out this Omniscience while our opponent's tapped out. Okay, we'll cast this Ponder. See if there's anything here that we like. No, I don't like any of these cards. So yes, we'll shuffle. Island was just as bad. Go ahead and pull out this Breeding Pool. Won't pay 2 life for that. Go ahead and cast this Rampant Growth. It actually may have been better to just go ahead and pay for the Breeding Pool so that we could sack Relic of Progenitus to try and get another card. We really don't want to be handing our opponent 6 more cards because he had a Metamorph. Yeah, that may have actually just been the play that may cost us in the end. But we'll go ahead and sit back at this point. Letting our opponent draw up to 7 is a little scary. He definitely, the red deck, has the ability to just burn out the creatures, which isn't ideal for us. But also he has a lot of mind control and, seizing effects in his deck. Okay, he's going to Chaos Warp our Omniscience. So we'll go ahead and hit these Lightning Greaves with Putrefy. And we'll see what we get off Omniscience. Darksteel Ingot. I don't think Omniscience for Darksteel Ingot was a particularly good trade for us. I don't feel like the value was there for us. This isn't the permanent I would have pulled out of my own deck, for instance. Okay, our opponent's using something with Delve. Maybe Treasure Cruise. Yep, there it is. He's back up to 7 cards. Seems like he may be fishing for a way to deal with our Damia. Okay, played Food Chain. Okay, we'll draw back up to 7. Now at least this hand has some tutors in it, and we got, you know, a lot less in terms of land cards this time. So we'll go ahead and play out a basic. I think finding a piece of removal for this Damia is going to be, you know, pretty good for us. I don't think that we can let this stick around any longer. We'll have to fish through our deck and see if there's anything that removes it, you know, efficiently. Alright, let's see. Acidic Slime may actually just be perfect because it's an artifact at this point. Ultimate Price doesn't do it. Soul Tide Charm doesn't do it. That's another mono-colored. Actually, Reclamation Sage would do it as well. So for 3 mana, we can hit it with a Reclamation Sage. Yeah, I think Reclamation Sage may just be our best bet. So let's do that. Yep, we want to use that ability. And we'll go ahead and attack. We'll get the first damage in on our opponent that we've had the opportunity for. I don't think there's anything we want to do at this point. We just want to send it back. Having Diabolic Revelations is also really good for us. It'll allow us to basically, you know, tutor up a new hand, you know, whatever we want. Our opponent still has a lot of cards in hand. There's Yasova. So probably beginning of combat, he's probably going to go ahead and try and take one of our smaller creatures so that he can sack it. I think with our next tutor, grabbing a piece of removal for Yasova and then counterspell backup is going to be pretty good value. See if he wants to pay to take a creature. Yep. You gonna pay? Gonna pay the piper? Oh, you are. Okay. And This is still fine. Yeah, I figured he probably wasn't going to attack. I think he actually just would rather have it for food chain or one of his altar effects instead. The value wasn't quite there. Although, there's something to be said for attacking to see if I block and then eating it, you know, after blocks. Although, I guess if you can only spend it on creatures, that doesn't quite do anything. Interesting he didn't have anything to spend that mana on. Oh boy, Cyclonic Rift can actually just be a huge blowout on this next turn. So right now we're at 3, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 mana. So we can't quite yet Ambition. And, you know, hold up something like Rift. Let's go ahead and pay all this in so we can see what we need. 1. There we go. I doubt you have a counterspell for that. Force of Will? No. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab this Ultimate Price to deal with the Yasova. And then we'll go ahead and grab a second counterspell. I think at this point, not letting him untap and try and steal something else may just be good, you know, good value for us. So let's go ahead and Ultimate Price Yasova. He's tapped out. You can sack your commander to any of your guys here. Anything? Force of Will now. Well, he's thinking about something. I think he's checking to see if he can get any value out of something like Food Chain, perhaps. Oh, so we'll just go ahead and attack and then send it back. I don't see any reason to try and force something like Thragtusk now either. I think holding up Counterspell and then on our next turn being able to play something like Rift is just huge. Especially because our opponent doesn't have Reliquary Tower. So if we do this on end step, it's actually going to force him to discard 6. Well, he'll take in 6. He doesn't necessarily have to discard that many. Okay. This is 8 mana. Ujin. This is definitely something counterspell worthy. Let's see what this is. Domri Raid. Okay. You gonna reveal something to me? You gonna show me what you got? No? Whiff? Alright. Damia's only gonna draw us 1 card this turn, which is unfortunate. I'm actually not sure whether it's time for something like Cyclonic Rift. Let's attack and see if we can clear this Domri first. Because if that's the case, we're actually still fine waiting on something like Cyclonic Rift. We're effectively dealing with their threats at this point. Let's not spend all of our black. Okay, so there's the base mana. Let's go ahead and tutor for... Yeah, I think 3 cards is probably about right. Yep. And actually this allowed us to hold up Rift mana too, which isn't too bad. Oh, and it looks like Revelations for 3 does it. Definitely a dangerous card, so I can't say I blame him. And we're starting to come back on this one despite being down very early on. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like. I always appreciate it. And let me know what you thought about the game too. I always really like that. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But until next time, this is Epion, signing off.